Warning: the opinions expressed in this video do not represent YouTube, associations, agencies, nor any particular individuals. They are merely from a team assembled trying to pass the boredom of everyday life. Some explicit content may occur in this or future presentations. Viewer discretion may be advised. But ignore it if you're into that thing.
I'm Wild Man Wes.
I'm the Big Bad Wolf Betty.
And I'm DJC.
And welcome to day 18.
More than halfway through.
Ooh, yeah.
Thank God.
Of SHOCKTOBERFEst. Today we have a movie that is just oofa. Good.
It's the bee's knees.
Oh, I know. And we're only doing the first one because obviously I used to do the 101s for Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween.
It just takes a lot out of them.
But for all of the sequels in this one, we're just going to say we're doing Clive Barker's Hellraiser. The first one, the originator.
Well, let's be fair, they go to space, so that's when you know it gets weird. Supernatural in space? Yeah.
Well, and recently they had that Judgment one that came out, and I didn't even see that one.
I'm gonna let you go from there.
Yeah.
So anyways, Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Came out in 1987. So it centers around a cube.
Pretty much like Pandora's
box, pretty much.
Give or take.
Pretty much, if you solve the puzzle, opens up a world of hell.
Yeah.
And, well, Frank travels around the world. He's kind of one of those guys, the black sheep of the family, travels around the world, kind of lives that lifestyle that's like, yeah, he's my brother, otherwise I wouldn't
The
love
wandering
him.
monk, basically.
Yes. So he does this. He gets the puzzle, brings it back home, solves it, opens up hell. You get the first glimpse of the Cenobites, who are pretty much the keepers of this dark dimension, and they live for torture. Literally, torture you. You die. It hurts, and then you get reformed, and you get to live it all over again. That's kind of what I picture hell would really be anyway. But
oh, yeah. And I mean, they even have that center between pleasure and pain.
Pain, yeah.
It's very, very kind of like psycho pseudo S&M type situation.
well, everybody's got their kink, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, Frank's brother, Larry, comes back with his wife, Julia. They're moving into the place. They pretty much find it a mess. That's just how Frank left it, because, well, you get pulled off to a dark dimension, you're not really worried about tidying up. You know how it is.
Yeah, you get maggots all over the place.
It happens all the time. You should see my house.
A mattress with piss all over it. Oh, wait, we're talking about Frank's place,
yes,
right?
Frank's place.
Okay.
So, anyways, Larry has a daughter named Christy, whatever.
I know.
So,
tomato. Rubber.
her and Julia don't get along because Julia is her stepmom. And yeah, you kind of find out later that Julia and Frank kind of had a thing right before they got, Larry and her got married. So she's not a very good girl. It's not the one you want to take home to meet mom, is what I'm trying to get at. So anyways, movie's going on, they're moving in. Christy doesn't want to live in the house because, Julia lives there and she's kind of a... So anyways, Larry one night cuts his hand on something, goes up to the attic, which is where Frank got taken to hell, and the blood kind of starts to regenerate him, and he comes back. So one day, Julia's there, and she's pretty much, still in love with Frank, and Frank tells her, bring me people. So the more people she brings there, and by the way she brings them there, she tries to seduce them, and pretty much knocks them out, and then Frank kills them, takes their organ. Ooh. Oofa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, this continues for a little bit. But all the while, Christy, she starts noticing things are going wrong. And she's a good daughter. She loves her dad. She wants to tell him because she kind of caught her. doing some stuff with a guy, and then he didn't leave. Kind of weird. Horror movie magic. So anyway, long story short, eventually Frank just kills his own brother to take on his appearance, to complete his transformation. Christy solves the puzzle again, brings the Cenobites back, she makes a deal with them that she gives them Frank back, and she gets away, or does she?
Dun dun dun!
And we're just going to end it there because, like you said, the sequels kind of get weird. Second one's not too bad, but after that, it just gets weird.
If anything, they're on Netflix for the most part.
Yeah,
Last I
you can check
checked,
them all.
yeah. Or go to your local retail store or your local video store because this is the 80s.
Yes. So
VHS all the way.
Hell yeah. So anyway, we're going to get into now, again, like we did last year and all the episodes before this, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, and then we'll ultimately give it a grade. So, why don't we start with DJC over here? What did you like about the movie?
Well, what I liked about the movie was the characters, the Cenobites. They were creepy, and when anyone thinks about the movie, it's not so much of, I think, of the characters that are the main characters in there. It's more about just Pinhead himself. That he's the face of
It's
the
funny because
whole
you actually
series,
technically
you know?
don't get his name till later on in the franchise.
Yeah.
He was just considered the head Cenobite. So,
Yeah, so I don't know. I that's what I liked about the movie.
alright. Well, man?
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. I definitely like the kind of psychosexual mentality that goes through the movie. I mean, not saying that I'm all about that. It's just...
Stop right there, my friend. Now you know who the weird one is in the group. There's always one. You just found out who it is.
They don't call me the Wild Man for nothing, but I liked how they delved into this type of, source material. Clive Barker is known
Very good for
the
his-
macabre. I mean, if you look at movies later on,
The Nightbreed.
Candyman. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always this kind of dance that a lot of the characters have. I mean, even still, I mean, there is kind of that kind of sexual dance between the killer or the antagonist and protagonist with like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. There's always that will they, won't they. Even with Jason, it's like, he's going to kill them, but it's like, even though he's got an ugly face, you never know.
Maybe somebody will find true love.
Exactly. I mean, hell, Kia gave him CPR in Freddy vs. Jason,
That
so
is
there
true.
you go. No, but what I liked about it is they have this situation where Frank, when you first find out about him having that affair, and you know that he ain't all there. And then later on...
he's a scumbag.
Oh yeah, he's a scumbag. And plus, near the end, when the Cenobites get him, and they've got him hooked up, like,
And his last line
is Jesus
Jesus
wept, and they
wept.
rip him apart. It's basically, and he had a
And
smile
the
on
best
his
part
face.
about that is that was ad-libbed.
It was almost like he enjoyed dying at that point.
Well, he's already died before, so it's like he knew it was coming.
knew, yeah.
So.
Well, I'm saying like that final...
Again?
That final...
Oh, no, I know what you're saying. Again, though.
But then again,
that
of course,
line-
in the sequels, they bring him back and bring him back
That
and bring him
line was
back. but-
ad-libbed, and I think it was actually kind of a perfect... That's the shortest verse in the Bible, is Jesus wept. That's right after you found out that Lazarus
and
died.
not just that, but I mean, and it couldn't have come from a better actor than Andrew Robinson. I mean, this guy, a couple, like, about 10 years prior to that, or maybe longer, was Scorpio in Dirty Harry. Or Scorpio, or something like that. I mean,
Well, that was one of my things about that is because you get Larry's character. He's a loving father, loving husband, believes in his family, and then, they make him Frank, but it's still the actor playing him, and then you see such a 180 of his character where now he's this sleazebag, he's a monster, and
Andrew Robinson
that just shows how
he
good
was
an
always
actor he is.
typecasted in that kind of sleazebag moment because in Child's Play 3 he plays the barber at the military school and he's always like, presto, you're bald, and it's just like you look at him and you're like, there's a reason why he played these characters, but
He's good at it.
I digress on that. But still, I liked how they really delved into that where everybody had that little moment that's not all there. Even Kirsty, when she finally accepts the fate of, the puzzle box. She may not necessarily enjoy what's going on in front of her, but there's that little gleam in her eye that, you can tell something, especially later on in like the second one, that
Then, yeah.
she embraces it in a way.
I like it.
Yeah.
And then I guess my favorite part of the movie is kind of like the mythology behind, I think it's called Lamentation Puzzle or something like that.
Lamentation puzzle box?
Something like that.
Sounds about right.
If I'm wrong, guys, that's why we have a comment section. Correct our dumb for not doing our research.
Exactly.
But I like the mythology behind it. Is it's not for everybody, and the old man who sells it, he even says after that, he's like, oh, whatever price, and Frank throws money down, and he's like, it was yours. It's always been yours. Like he was destined to have this puzzle box. Mm-hmm. He was destined to suffer, destined to die, and live in this hell. So I like the mythology behind it. That maybe it has picked out people, every victim maybe. So that's kind of cool to me. I'm all about mythology and stuff. Being a comic book person is kind of, I think, why I like the mythology, because basically every comic book hero is basically a Greek hero from mythology or some kind. I mean, they use Norse mythology, Greek mythology in Marvel Comics, in DC Comics. So I mean, I always like that tie-in to actual mythology, because that's where you get most of your superheroes from. So them doing this is kind of cool. Like, what are the Cenobites? Are they demons? You know what I mean? So you don't get a clear answer. So that's what I like about it, though, is that there's some kind of mythology behind it. And like I said, that's how I actually picture hell, is if you go there, if it exists. I can't be 100% sure. I'm not going to try to convince you, because that's not what our channel's about.
No.
But if there is a hell, that's how I picture it. You just pretty much get torn apart every day, put back together, and you get to suffer it over and over again for all of eternity. So that's a pretty good way to look at hell. I mean, whether you believe in it or not. Mm-hmm. Now let's get into the part that we don't like about it. The bad parts. DJC, what didn't you like about it?
Okay, the one thing that got me, I didn't realize it towards the end of the movie, really, is all these dead bodies are in this house. Nobody smells us? I mean, not only that, I mean, then you got Uncle Frank upstairs, who is a dead body, walking around.
Yeah, but he's uncomposed and stuff still. So
I mean, no one's smelling any of this. I mean,
oh man, buddy, I know you're an adult, but where's that childlike wonder where it's just like, I didn't even think about that. Movie magic.
Yeah.
But he's right, though. I mean, dead bodies up there, Uncle Frank, when he's like half composed.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be stinky.
Yeah, and then the floor, and up in the attic, that floor had to been covered in so much blood and all this stuff, and when these people are walking in there, they're not noticing all this blood on the ground. And
well, guys, you can tell he's the elder of the group, that he's actually thinking logical.
Yep.
Because I didn't think about that until just now. I'm like, man, he's right.
Okay, I know the logical stuff, but all right, fine. The non-logical.
It's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be logical.
Nobody's calling the cops in this damn movie. This
is why we have him on the channel, folks. Logical.
Yep.
Wow, man, what was your...
Okay, I mean, now that he brings it up, yeah, I can understand that. The one thing that really gets to me is the lack of the Cenobites. Really, I mean, granted, it is the first movie in the franchise.
Sometimes less is better.
But when you see the poster alone, it's Pinhead holding the Pandora's box or the Lamentation box, but you only see him like at the beginning when Frank gets tortured.
He maybe only has 20 minutes of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, because let's put it this way: first Friday the 13th, you didn't see much. Okay, less is more. Nightmare on Elm Street, first one. You see Freddy throughout the whole movie,
and it works.
Phantasm, the tall man, you see him in every other instance of the movie. These movies came. I mean, I don't know if Phantasm came out after Hellraiser, but still. We had enough horror films.
No, it came out definitely before.
But even Halloween, you see Michael Myers enough. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you see Leatherface enough. Every single slasher or thriller movie, you see the antagonist more than anything else in the film. And this one, they just kind of...
And it's been a while since I actually read the book. But I'm pretty sure he shows up more in the book than he does in the movie. It's been a while since I read the book. Again, guys, correct me, we're doing the movie, not the book. This is why I didn't read the book before we did it. But if you guys know the book better than I do right now, I'm pretty sure that the Cenobites show up a little bit more than they do in the movie. I could be wrong. It's been a good 7 years since I read the book, so...
I mean, granted, I understand with less is more, but with the whole backstory with Frank wanting to get regenerated, it drug on a little bit.
It did.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not going to say, I'm not taking anything away from the movie. I mean, the movie is great. It's phenomenal. It's just, little moments like that, it's like, it's basically a S&M version of Little Shop of Horrors, in a way.
The way they do it, you're right. Feed me.
Yeah, he just wants more.
Exactly.
Feed me. All right.
They were
So,
just
yeah.
missing some show.
I guess it's my
Yeah,
turn.
exactly.
Well,
Well, just wait. Broadway will have Hellraiser the musical you watch. They already did it with Evil Dead, so hey.
why not? All right. So what I didn't like, pretty much what Wes kind of talked about. It wasn't a lack of the Cenobites. It was lack of backstory of the Cenobites. So we kind of got the mythology behind the box, which is kind of cool. But were these Cenobites, they look like people, so were they people once? You kind of don't get the backstory to layer on in the franchise. Which, okay, some of it was kind of didn't like, kind of did like. But at the time, it's just like, were they demons always there that just took on this appearance? Or were they people who were there and then they finally just gave into these dark urges? And that's why they became these demons that, get these new victims in there. So a little bit more of a backstory in the movie would have probably helped to explain the Cenobites a little bit. That's just me. I mean, it's creepy when you don't have a motive. It really is, because, alright, why are they doing this? I don't know. Who knows? But like, if you have a backstory behind it, it's like, it kind of helps you understand your characters a little bit better, but also, it does make it scarier without the backstory, though, because it's just like, you don't know.
Yeah.
But again, if I got a little, like, they were once people, and they were tortured, and then they finally just gave into the dark urges, and they became what they are now, and now they're bringing new people in to be tortured, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind. I mean, so they could have done it right after Frank got taken, and, Frank's like, why are you doing this, and then there's like, well, we were once like you, Frank, and then we accepted it. So that would have been kind of cool, but otherwise it's not a big concern for me, because I like the movie in general. But a little bit of a backstory on the Cenobites wouldn't have been terrible. I mean, if you disagree, again, comment section down below. A lot of you don't use it, but I know you guys watch the videos, so magic time.
Oh, yeah. Let us know.
Anyways, now let's just jump into what we would grade this horror movie. Wow, man, why don't you start us off with a grade?
Okay. I love Clive Barker. He knows how to write. He knows how to make a movie. Yeah,
He does.
Apart from the lack of Cenobites and it dragging on just a little bit with the whole Frank story, I'm going to be very fair, in a way. Fair and biased, but I'll give it a solid A. Solid A.
GJC, what are you thinking?
Oh, well, like we were talking earlier about this movie, about how it stands up against, let's say, like Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Of the original ones of that, those you watch those again, it still holds up a lot. I think this movie, for coming out in 1987, doesn't fare so much, but it is a good story. I'm
talking about your special effects is what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll give it a solid B. B for more blood. I think Frank needs the more blood. So
Yeah.
He does. Me? I can watch this horror movie all the time because I do think it's a really good classic. I love Clive Barker. I've never watched a Clive Barker movie that I didn't like. He's great books too, guys. Obviously, read the books because they're better than the movies. Right. I'm sorry, just because you could fit more into a book and get away with it. So read the books, guys. Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
But anyways, if I have to be fair and give it a good grade, I'd probably give it a B+.
Fair enough.
Just because, like we talked about, and then you hear what they don't like about the movie. Then I'm like, man, I didn't think about that. A solid B+. A very good movie. So overall, probably about B+.
Okay.
So overall, movie gets a B+ in general. Good movie. Check it out. If you're brave enough, check out the rest of the series too. Not saying they're not good.
Be afraid.
Not
Be
saying they're
afraid.
not good. There's a couple good ones in there, but there's a couple weird ones in there too. So it's up to you if you're a big horror fan or not. I'm sure some of you watching this have already seen the whole franchise, including the new one, Judgment, that came out. I have not seen it because after the one in space, I kind of lost faith in it. I'm like, you can't put supernatural creatures in space. It doesn't make sense. But they tried to make it make sense, and it didn't make sense, and I had to go along with it. So, so anyways, That is day 18, guys. We are more than halfway through our list.
Woohoo!
We're getting tired already, though, guys. You can tell. Me and Wes know this.
Oh, yeah. We've been through the ringer.
All the new members, you know, DJC, Valzilla, Paul Phoenix, they don't know yet. Well, we know.
But
They're starting to feel it,
yeah,
but they don't know.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So anyway, guys, make sure you watch every episode this season of Shocktoberfest, because I think this is even better than last year. We got more people to help critique movies. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. And by the way, guys, make sure you hit that red button down below to subscribe to us.
With your finger, or your toe, or your tongue, whatever you want to do.
Make sure you ding that bell, too, because the bell, it tolls for thee, it tolls for thee. Little Halloween stuff in there for you.
And if there's anything you like about what we said or didn't like about it, just leave a little comment in that section below.
And by the way, guys, you can dislike the video. As long as you're giving us some attention, that's all we care about.
Publicity is publicity is publicity.
It's like I always say in wrestling. As long as you're getting booed or you're getting cheered, you're getting attention and they're going to keep bringing you back.
Amen to that. Other than that, I'm Wildman Wes.
I'm your big bad wolf Benny.
And I'm DJC.
And we will see you tomorrow on day 19 of the Wild Wolf Show, Shocktoberfest. See you soon.
So Wes, this next movie, how would you describe it?
Well, it's a little gay. No. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying that it touches on a lot of homosexual relationships. And, you know, we need to be a little more diverse on this channel. I mean,
it's 2018.
Yeah, I mean, what harm could it do?